we're back again. This time, I'm gonna do something completely different. We're gonna move from working on the Volkswagen to working on something I've never done before, which is paint an Amish wagon and a horse. I'm not big on painting wildlife, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. So we're gonna start with a flat brush and lay down the, first we want to stain the canvas. So let's see, let me get more little paper plates here. So we're going to do this with, we're going to put a burnt umber stain down on the entire canvas. So we use this flat, this little 1-inch flat, and we'll just lay some in here. A little less medium, a little more paint. There we go, that's better. You can see this burnt umber really well on this gray. I've never actually tried using this on this gray gesso before, so we'll see how that goes. I've used gray gesso before, I just haven't used it for this underpainting technique, so we'll see how that works. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hey, Amy. And we'll keep moving this paint around. We won't just keep adding paint. So this is the first part of this underpainting technique. So we'll do the underpainting today, and then it'll be dry by tomorrow. The medium I'm using is the liquid clear that I make for myself. It's pretty lean, so it dries really fast. So by really fast, I don't mean it's not going to be dry today, but it'll be dry tomorrow. And I'll be able to paint over it. So canvas preparation, so let me cover that real quick. It's a 12x16 economy canvas from Michaels. It's got 2 coats of gray gesso on it and 1 coat of white gesso. It's got, and then we put the sketch on, and then we put, once we got the sketch in for the wagon, we did a fix-it over the top of it. We sprayed a fix-it on over it, 2 coats. And then that'll hold the pencil in place as I've applied this burnt umber. And now we're adding just regular burnt umber in oils. And we're going to have to get some more out because I don't have enough. Oh, here it is. So as we go along, if you guys have any questions, just throw them up there. I will see them. If I should happen to not see them during the live portion, I will, which right now I don't see anybody asking any questions, but I don't see anything other than I've got 5 people on, so I don't know who's on. Facebook's not telling me that stuff today for whatever reason. It's really pretty a flaky platform. But we're moving in the process of moving to YouTube, so hopefully that'll be a much better platform for communicating. We'll see. We'll see. We'll be doing our first live from there sometime this week. Now, a lot of this part's going to be dark down here on this bottom part, but that won't keep us from changing how we're going to go about this. Right now, we're just getting all the paint on there. When we get done, we're trying to get an even, nice, even stain on the canvas before and then we'll start adding colors and taking away colors back and forth until we get it to what we want it to be. All right, that seems to be pretty good right there. Moving some from this middle part down here. Okay. So you're fighting the drawing of the wheels? The drawing of the wheels, the number one thing for drawing any kind of circular object is to realize that even though they're round, when you're drawing them, they have to be oval so that they'll look round. If you try to draw them round, they're not gonna look right. But what else can I tell you about it? What part are you struggling with? Okay, we're gonna take just a paper towel. Now we're gonna start wiping this back. This is where we'll tell about how the gray gesso might react versus the white gesso that I did on the Volkswagen picture earlier. I'm gonna wipe this back pretty far. Okay, that's still pretty dark, but that's okay because we're gonna do a lot of work on it. So, all right, now particularly you want to wipe back the sky in the middle portion. So let's kind of, if you leave all this dark in, when you go put the sky in, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard bringing the values up. But this underpainting technique does a lot for adding depth to your paintings. Make sure they're oval. That's the between. Well, there's two parts, I guess, to wheels. Make sure they're oval, and then the rest of it's really got to do with the shadows a lot. So, hey Harriet, hey Graham, hey Chrissy. All right, so that brings us to step 2. So, for everybody that just joined, let me quickly recap. We got 12 by 16 canvas. It's got 1 coat of white gesso, 2 coats of gray gesso over the top of it, medium gray. So that's a little different than the last than the Volkswagen painting we did earlier this morning. You were on that one. I'm just kind of flicking off these little napkin paper towel things. Then we sketched this wagon and horse, which first one of those I've ever done, so that's hopefully coming out okay. Then we sprayed the pencil sketch with Fix-It, and to hold the pencil in place as I put this burnt umber over the top of it. Then we put the burnt umber over the top. So then we've wiped that back. We're about to wipe it back some more, and then we're going to do some point wiping. Okay, this is a shop towel, a little different from the paper towel I was using earlier. I just want to bring a little bit more of this umber off. I'm not taking a lot off, although I'm pushing on it pretty hard. But you'll see me take some more off here in a minute. All right, that looks pretty good. This combination of gray gesso and burnt umber, it's the first time I've tried this, so we'll see how this works out. See if this works out pretty good. All right, so let's start working on the highlights to start with. I have never done any kind of animals, so this should be, well, yeah, that's not true. I did a couple of tigers, but all right, let's get let's put some of the highlights in here that we want to have. So we'll move on to the next step here, which is just putting some preliminary highlights in. We're going to have a highlight running all the way down the roof of this Amish. So, I don't know if in England they have Amish people. That religion is very prevalent there. I don't know, but it's pretty prevalent here where I live. That and Shaker Village. We had a couple of Shaker villages here where I live too. So, all right, we're gonna have quite a bit of bright. You see these guys out on the road a lot, and they don't like you to take your picture too much, so I don't take them unless they say it's okay. They do not like to have their picture made. They believe it shows a pride, and they just don't want that. So I get it. I understand. So, all right. And probably the hardest thing that's going to be on this whole shooting match will be getting all the highlights straight and getting the wheels put in the right spot. So that's okay, though. We'll figure it out. We'll get it going. I'm going to do a little bit of this here. Then we'll come back and we'll do some more on these wheels. And I think most of these are going to bring up in the first color. Glaze. First color glaze. All right. That's kind of some of the main highlight. That gets us started anyway. There'll be highlight on the horse. Okay. And there's some highlight on his tail, so we may as well go ahead and brighten this whole window, I guess. Because you probably can't tell from the video, but his tail actually comes up in the air and then down. All right. Got light on the back of his neck. So this is all going to be pretty interesting for me. It's all pretty new. We will be doing another underpainting this weekend. This week we'll be working on the Summer Girl series. So we'll have that picking that back up. Taking it to some much larger formats this year. Those sold pretty well last year at the show, so we'll do some more of those. I have some other ideas. Unfortunately for me, the young girl I used was the modeling that stuff is grown up. So, just gotta find a different model. All right. Let's start coloring some stuff in. Am I going to sell it? Yeah. This? Amy? Is that this painting? Yeah. If it comes out, I guess I will. I don't usually have too many I keep for myself. Sometimes I keep them for a year or so, but if somebody wants to buy it along the way, I'd let them have it. I don't know. I've done a little over 400 paintings, and I may have 50 left in the studio. Some I've donated to like to support. Like last year, I gave 25 paintings to a school for girls cheerleading, so that they could, and they actually auctioned them off at their art show, and they auctioned them off, and then used the money to buy sports equipment. So it was great for me in that it opened up my studio. It was great for them because. The only funny part, the hardest part about that probably was the ladies that came to pick out the paintings, because I just let them pick whatever they wanted to take. I didn't really care so much what they took, but the ladies that came, they wanted to take them all home. They wanted to keep them all. So it was hard. The hardest thing was for them picking out the paintings they were going to take. All right, let's start putting in some of the darks. And like I say, you'll notice a difference in my technique today because I've torn my rotator cuff in my left arm. So I'm due up a couple of weeks to figure out if they're going to do surgery. Right now they got me in physical therapy, so we'll see how that goes. But I can't really pick my arm up over my head much. So, and actually, after the last painting, I had to kind of take a break because my arm was killing me. If it starts hurting me, I'll have to quit. But hopefully you guys will bear with me. I think I can get this done. I'll just have to turn the canvas around. All right, I've got so I'm painting with an angle brush. I like painting with this brush in this underpainting format because it I can just paint just with the tip of it and really lay out some pretty crisp lines, just like that. And when you're underpainting, that's kind of nice to lay a nice thin line down like that, because then you can, when you come back and start laying the color layers in, it's much easier to hit the border pretty easy, because it's almost like coloring book style by the time you finish that. By the time you finish all of this part, when you've got the shadows put in. All right, we're gonna let this part right here. I'll let this sit for just a second, and I'm gonna continue on around with the wagon in a different spot, just to let that paint set up just a little bit. And then we'll start blending it. Oh. All right. Now, I'm working in underpainting. Let me see if I can show you this on video. I'm working with this underpainting. You'll notice this line right here. I'm going to move it closer for you in a second. As I've moved off my sketch, I've missed my sketch. That's okay. I'm going to show it one more time in case you didn't see it. See, it's a little bit off the sketch. So, that's okay. You can just come back with a Q-tip and just kind of erase it. Just like that. All right. Oh. Let me get these high points done. I can get off this thing. All right. It takes a little bit of practice to paint just with the tip of these angle brushes, but it's not all that hard. I'm going to add some more shadows and stuff in here in a second, but specifically right there. But I'm just kind of laying some of these border lines in. Oops, that's okay. It's going to go in the shadow. There's a lot of shadow in this painting. And there's different degrees of shadows. So we're going to have to, like over here, we're going to have to add more color. That's why we're just kind of letting it sit up. I'm shying away from the horse because that's going to be the hardest part for me, I think. If you guys know Emily Jean, she's kind of gotten me going with little animals in my paintings and stuff, and so that's been good. That's been good. She pushes me out to my limit pretty hard most of the time. If you haven't followed her channel, you probably should. She's doing some really interesting things with watercolors. All right, so this is the horse's hoof right here. Put a little bit of paint in here on that side of the hoof, and then on this side of the hoof. All right. I'm just kind of jumping around here, but that's okay. These are, those are squares. All right, so let's get the squares put in. There's squares across the back here, so let's. All right. No more questions? Any more questions, guys? Keep them coming. It keeps the conversation lively. All right. Now some of this will come back and add more color to in a minute, or a little bit more shadow, but we're just getting it in here to start with. You don't have to do it that way. You can go like right from it right into the dark if you want, but I don't usually. I kind of shift back and forth. I kind of like that way. For those of you that don't know, I'm a Mazart painting partner with Marion Dutton, so I tend to do a bunch of. I can teach a lot of her lessons. I've been following Marion for most of my painting career. She's an excellent teacher. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and lay some of this out. We're going to come back in a minute and smooth some of these lines. If you saw me doing that on the last video, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, well, you'll know in a minute. You'll know, you'll see in just a minute. So we have quite a few Amish people that live near where we live. Wendy and I went to Pennsylvania vacation 2 years ago. Spent quite a bit of time on an Amish guy's farm, an Amish farmer's farm. Oh, all right. That one didn't go so good. Okay. We'll fix it. His name was John. He retired at the age of 55, turned the farm over to his son. They raised cattle and hay and mules. They had quite an operation. 18 draft horses. Bring this line down, and then we can start working on some more of this other stuff. I'm not trying to keep this too straight. I don't want it to be too straight because I want those shadows to be a little bit varied when I start laying this color in tomorrow or the next day, whenever it happens to be. You may wonder if you can touch these, if you like paint along and miss something, and the next day you're like, oh, I missed that. Yeah, you can just oil this back in by adding a little bit of linseed oil to it, and then just go right back to work, go right back to painting, and you'll be good. You'll be good to go. All right, we're going to add some shade to this light part in a second, but they're just no, they don't really have any lights. They're just like see-through things here. This part right here that I'm about to shade in is just a warning. Like, watch out. This is a wagon. This is not a car. Some of the Amish have actual stop sign kind of things on their cars. Not on their cars, on their wagons. They don't have cars. On their wagons. There's a big stink went on down here not too long ago because they wanted them to the government had a special sign that they wanted them to put on their wagon. And one of the Amish guys, of course they're not too fond of the government. So they were like, no, we're not doing that. And so they were actually threatening to throw this Amish guy in because from their perspective, that's against their religion. So they were going to throw them in jail. And it's like, no, we about had an uprising down here. No, you're not throwing an Amish guy in jail because he won't put one of your dumb signs on his wagon. No, that's not happening. So In the end, I think he did put some type of sign on his wagon, but it wasn't the one that they wanted. But you know what? They could get over it. All right, let's get the bottom of the wagon right here. Now this is going to be darkened in a minute. All right, so we're just going to add some of this dark in, but then we're going to add even darker dark. So I don't want to lose. I'm leaving a little bit of a line of non-painted area between this board and the board above it because all of it's in shadow, but I don't want to lose that when I don't want to lose that line when I start to color the rest of this in. So, all right, let's get. All right, so we got a slight little line right here. Now we're going to start to color some of this in. All right, so let's put the, let's go fooling around with the wheels and let's go ahead and put this tail in. Let's get through this tail. And then let's start adding this other darker color. So we're going to switch to a flat. This part here is going to be really dark in the final painting, so we're just going to go ahead and darken it in right now. So by letting that paint set up just a little bit, in that little bit of time, we'll put this other thicker color. We're putting thick over thin, so that makes it stick pretty good. That looks nice. Now let's start working on some of these back pieces. This is all dark all up in here. That hasn't quite set up yet, so we're going to leave that alone for a minute. Let's go work on the horse a little bit. So again, I'm just painting with the tip of this brush. And by the tip, I mean just barely touching the canvas with this paint. We're putting very, very, very little paint on. Okay, so I'm painting the leg that's farthest away first because it needs to set up as well, so I can put the rest of this color in. Because it's going to be darker than the outside leg just because of the shadows. And for me, the challenge here in working on the horse is to turn my brain off, because your brain will just, at least mine, will want to edit that for you. Like, oh, you shouldn't do it that way. You should do it this way. And then I end up getting choked up. Well, not choked up, but I just choke, period. So if it's choked up, just choked. It gets messed up. So I have to turn that editor off and just kind of work on a piece of the horse at a time. And treat it as just another shape that you're trying to create. All right. Now this part is dark all the way back. I don't know if my shoulder's going to let me do that. All right. So here's the way this is going to go. This is dark. All this is dark. All back up in here. But there's a highlight right there. And then more dark. Like that. Okay. Now let's start applying some darker color. Yeah, that looks good. That's good. This color has to come all the way back. So this too is dark, but now we're going to add some highlights back. I'm going to move to a very small filbert brush with a little bit of this liquid color. I'm trying to keep up with comments, making sure that I answer everybody's comments if they have any. All right, so we've got, let's switch. Let's go ahead and get this rail put in. So this rail, where's this rail go? It goes up to the wheel, okay. So we have this rail, like this. It runs in here like this. Then, right here, we have a highlight. Okay. All right. Then we've got some, I'll tell you what, let's let that paint set up. And let's just go back for a minute. We're going to blend some of this. So we'll let all this set up so I can kind of let my brain settle. Just pulling the brush strokes out. Barely touching this. And when you do this, you're gonna create a little bit of fog around different spots. I'll show you some in a minute. But that's not a big deal. You don't even care about that, really. All right. But let me show you anyway. Let me set some of this stuff down for a minute. All right, so I can show you. So as we start to pull in here, you can see here where can you see that right there where it's smudged? That's okay. It's not a big deal. We don't care about that because we're just going to take this Q-tip. You can just kind of rub it across the top, and voila, it's gone. Same here in the highlight area. You just kind of rub it off. That's nice and good. And I want a nice strong highlight in this window. So I'm just going to kind of make sure I get all that out. There we go. And I don't want this little smudge right there. There we go. All right. So we good? We good? Good. Okay, here we go. Let's start working on some more on the horse. I think. There's no easy parts left. Crap. All right. All right. Crap. All right. We're down to the harder stuff now. So this leg is set up a little bit. That's all I needed it to do. So I can create it nice and dark. May even go back and make it darker later, but we'll see. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing this, my arm's killing me. So I've torn my rotator cuff. Until I get that fixed, I'm just going to have to learn to paint upside down. I can't raise my hand above my head. So, here's what it is. So when I'm loading this brush, I'm pulling this tip to a really sharp point. So I can paint with just the tip of it. And I'm adding just a little bit of linseed oil to it to make it flow nice and easy. Upside down, that looked freaking horrible, but it's not so bad. All right. I think he's got blinders on, right? Yeah. I didn't put those in. Like that. All right, so So all this part here is dark on the horse's back. But it's not real dark, is it? It's pretty dark. All right, that's fine. Let's color it in. Let's get all the color put in. And the way he's standing, I can't see the back part of his leg, so. The rest of it's coming through this wheel right here. All right. So let's get this dark part covered in. And this part here. And this is a saddle right there. All right. Now we're going to line some more of this out. There we go. We're not creating a border here. We're kind of creating like a color boundary for the first colors that are coming in. That the first layer of colors will be put on tomorrow. All right. So yeah, this part here is going to be dark. All right. And that part up there is all dark. All right, we've got his mane is going to come over like this. A part of his saddle. All right, let's get the saddle put in here. Or well, it's not really a saddle, it's a harness. This thing is really pretty dark. This horse is going to be brown, and the saddle is going to be black before it's over. All right, let's get some of this other stuff in here. Any questions? Oh, what brush am I using? Using an angle brush. It's a number 3 Aspen Princeton brush, Angle Bright. It sits with my flats, but it's actually bright. The horse's face is all in shadow, all this part. Because the sun's going to be over on the other side. A little bit of a highlight up there. All right, let's put some of these details in here. I'll tell you what, let's let that sit for a second. Let's move over here to this window and get that put in. Yeah, I'm painting just with the very tip of this angle brush. You could do this with I like it because I can be drawing a line 1 second and then I can just fill things in another second. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. Like here, I just want to add some shading on here. So I just got done drawing this line. I can just pull this brush down like this and just kind of, add some color here and there, like that. Because when I start glazing on colors, this will all pick up in the background. It'll make the painting nice and full. deep. It'll make it really deep. So that's nice. You can just kind of pull it around that way. All right, let's see. Let's go to, I'm going to leave that alone for a minute. Let's go ahead and start working on this wheel. Now, I did something interesting with the wheels. Let me tell you about that. So, in my summer girl paintings, I have a wagon in some of those paintings. I don't have one handy. They're all hanging on the wall over there. But, so I thought I'd try something different this time. And, of course, in a wheel, there's 3 dimensions. You've got, you've got several different angles that you got to deal with. You've got the underside of the wheel coming around this way. You've got the side of the wheel that's sticking out, and you've got the top of the wheel that's coming over from any angle. So I started to draw that in, and then I decided not to do that because I wanted to see if I could just paint the darks and put the lights in myself, and then when I put the final colors on, add the 3rd dimension wherever the extra brights are. So we'll find out if I can do that or not, I guess, as we do this painting. So the spokes are going to be kind of 2-dimensional today because my intent is to come back and paint these with the first colors only on the highlight because I want them to stay this color, actually. So I'm adding a little bit of medium to my brush now so that'll flow a little easier on these spokes. Did what I just say make any sense to y'all? Because I kind of rambled on there. Which, if you spend much time with me, you'll find it's not too unusual. Alright, so let's see. So all of this is dark. So we're going to darken this wheel all the way around. To dark all the way around. This whole wheel just about is in shadow. Does that make sense? If you guys don't tell me when I don't make sense, then I can't make it better. All right, so the top of the wheel it's going to be bright all in there. So this is going to be kind of a medium tone. I'll probably have to wipe some of that back off. And then this is going to be dark all the way around. All the way around. Keep going. All the way around. There we go. All right. Now let's finish putting those last few spokes in. So we'll come back in the second part of this and we'll add more spokes. Add more depth of spoke. Let me say it that way. So right now they kind of look like wire spokes, and when I get done with them, they'll look like wooden spokes. But because when we highlight these, there'll be a darker color for the deep shadow. There'll be a blue color for the mid-tone highlight, and then there'll be something lighter for maybe like either light blue or white for the rest of the wheel, where the extra highlight goes in. So you can't see it on the video probably, but I'll move it so you can in a second. Just kind of touching with this wheel. The more you use these Q-tips, the better you'll get at using them. So, all right, so you'll notice, you might be able to see it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me move this closer so you can. On this wheel, as it comes around, there's actually another pencil line that I haven't touched, and that is it. Hey, Anthony! Man, I'm always late to your parties, you're always late to mine. It's been that way for like a year. We just can't keep up with each other. All right, let's get the rest of this. Let's put the strap in here. New topic, Anthony. I've never done a horse before, and I've never done a wagon before, except for, in my summer girl paintings, I did a wagon that didn't have a horse hitch to it. But anyway, this is like an Amish wagon. Hey, you guys live in New York. Do you have an Amish presence up in where you live, Anthony? I know when we went to Pennsylvania, there were quite a few, but New York's a different spot. So I mean, we live in Kentucky and we have a pretty big Amish presence, more of a Shaker Village Mennonite presence than anything, but, you know. All right, it's coming along pretty good. All right, let's see. How do we want to do this band, though? Okay, that's going to be... All right, so we're just going to outline this band. It's over the saddle because it's going to be in the background shadow. So it'll be sort of bluish. Belly band. All right. So here, the Amish have their little required side view mirror. They actually chose to add those. The government didn't make them do that, but if they had, they'd have probably been, like the stop thing, they would have probably been upset about that. All right, we're about to get this part. Do some highlight along that area. And all that part's going to be, yep. Now there's going to be, I don't know how, So we're going to try something different here. I'm going to try to highlight his mane by taking paint off. We'll see how that goes. I actually just added some thinner to this. We'll see if it'll come off. All right. That'll work pretty good. I think I could try just a little bit extra. All right, let's finish these last few wheels then. Then we can start working on the finals. So let's see. Yeah, they have a big presence here. What do we got here? All right. One day I spent a good bit of time with John on his farm. He explained to me these kids go to school through the 6th grade, and then they start working on the farm. And looking at how productive that they are and how well they seem to get along in life, I think that works for them. So you certainly know how to conduct business, that's for sure. All right, so a lot of this is going to be where the wagon is darker. This part right here is going to be, let's see if we can just lift a little bit of this wheel color off. Where I painted over it for the thing. Yeah, that works pretty good. Not too worried about the base of this wheel because it's going to be covered with some roadside grass. I'm going to add some shadows and stuff in here in a minute too. Some other shadows on the road. So Anthony, my brother, how have you been? You mean you've been cranking out videos like going out of style? Oh yeah, I want to. As long as you're here, are you still here? If you're still here, I would like to link your YouTube page to mine so that people, like where you can feature other channels. Is that okay with you for me to do that? If it is, I'll do it. I'll do it next time I'm working on my site maintenance. Okay, now these will get, like I say, these will pick up another third layer of business when we paint them back in with the colors, so they won't look quite as spindly. They'll be a little bit spindly, but because they are spindly, but they won't look as spindly as this. All right, let's start putting this in. We got some more layers in here inside this wagon that we're going to do, like right there. This wheel's going to be, this wheel's going to be highlighted. So we'll leave that alone. All right, so this outside part is like this, like that. All right, got it. I got it. I understand. All right, here we go. Yeah, I think I saw something, or maybe when I was passing through on one of your videos, I heard about the Home Artist Academy. Why don't you tell all of us a little bit about Home Artist Academy? Because this is going to end up on YouTube before we're done anyway, so it might help to throw some traffic their way, maybe. So if somebody happens to stumble across my video, they'll hear about it. Because as you know, it takes a while to get a presence going on YouTube. All right. Is that pretty much? It's pretty much. All right. Okay, let's do some smoothing, and then we'll see if there's any final. Oh, you know what? I see it. Never mind. Time out. I missed a wheel. Gives Anthony more time to talk about the guys. So yeah, we'll use these lines as we come back. When we come back in and put the colors on tomorrow, we will add the highlight to these. Looks like I missed a spindle right there somewhere, but that's okay. I can paint it in. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's get this last dark line in here. And then let's put Now we're just doing some little minor maintenance stuff here. Just a couple little touch-ups here and there. Alright, so we've got a little bit of shadow right in here, and a little bit of shadow right in here. Because these are both straps, so they're going to be blue at some point. And then this part here is all dark. Darker than that. Dark. Maybe a little bit more dark. Okay. And then let's add some shadow right here. For that blinder, a little bit of shadow here. Shadow on this corner. Right there. Alright guys, we need to smooth this out along the bottom here, and I think we'll be just about there. Let's do it. So let's put that away. Let's get this fan brush. Smooth all that out a little bit. Get a nice, push that paint out as far as we can, which will automatically make it as smooth as it can be. Now I think one last thing I want to do, just for my own sake, is I'm going to add a track along here, and then I kind of want I think that will maybe do it. Yeah, I don't want that. I want it to be more straight. There you go. That looks better. See if the paint is on the brush there. Okay, let's add a few grasses. As long as we got this brush, may as well use it. Put the horizon line out here somewhere. Some insinuation of some trees and stuff back there. All right. Just brush that out a little bit. You see we're being really loose with the brush here, but it's okay. We're just going to stick some trees and stuff back there later. Maybe just even a hint of some trees. I might paint that really soft back up in there. Nice and peaky. Oh, all right. Oh, there goes my arm. For a minute there, I forgot I had a hard arm. All right, guys. Well, all right. That's number 2 for today. So I think that'll do it. Hey, Harriet. Oh, cool. Interactive. That's awesome. I'll look back. It's rolling off the screen faster than I could read it, Anthony, but I'll go back and read it and check it. Might get to watch your shows more if they decide I have to have the surgery. But we shall see. We shall see. Nothing's firm yet. You got to get out of physical therapy first. All right, guys. Well, listen. Y'all have a good Sunday. Stay safe. Stay out of the coronavirus. Don't hoard all the freaking toilet paper, for God's sake. Stop stealing all the baby wipes, because then I don't have anything to clean my hands with when I'm painting. So, luckily for me, I was already hoarding them for my art, buying them at the flea market. So, yeah, y'all have a good weekend, and I will probably be back on the air tomorrow, depending how well the physical therapy goes tomorrow. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you didn't see the earlier one with the Volkswagen, you might want to pop back and take a look at that video. It's about an hour long. It's pretty good. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.